Hello and welcome to my channel. Your girl is back with another interesting story. Okay, in today's video, a mixed color race lady poses a question to her fellow mixed race people about when they also found out or noticed that their white parent shouldn't have had children of color. Well, this was after this incident she shares in this video. Let's check it out together.
A question to my fellow mixed race peeps out there. When did you realize that your white parent should have never had children of color? I'll go first. My mother has 3 children of color. I'm the youngest, and the like turning point, like a lot of stuff that's happened when I was younger, I didn't realize it was problematic until I got older. But this one hit me straight in the face. My sister, her kids, and my mom and I, we were on our way to go see my grandmother. My mom's radio station went to commercial. I changed it to the hip hop station of our town. She then proceeds to slam her hand on the radio to try to change it and said, and I quote, "I'm not listening to that nigger shit." Should have never have had children of color.
First off, I love my family. I'm so grateful for being adopted and having a second chance at life. There is no doubt about that. But I think there are some things that they really should have reconsidered saying and doing for their children. So my adopted parents already had 2 biological children, and then they adopted 3 black kids from Africa, my sister and I, and then a 3rd one from Liberia. You know how when people have babies to save a marriage? That's kind of how I felt when it came to us being adopted. It did not work. But like a lot of my past videos that people see, none of us know anything about our homeland, our culture, no connections to family, meh. But my biggest problem was the fact that my dad always seemed to use us as trophies. Whenever we got introduced to somebody, there was always this weird long moment where he was just telling the entire story of how he went to go get us. When high school came, all he did was boast about my black brother because he was in football. Never boasted about his biological children. When asked why he adopted kids, his answer was always, "I just wanted to add in some color."
When did you realize that your white parent should have never have had?
When did I realize that my white parents should have never adopted black children? I realized it when my mom didn't understand why I wanted to join a historically black sorority. I learned it when I thought about all the times I was told that my parents don't see color. I learned it when my parents' biological son / my brother told me that I only got my scholarship to college because I'm black. And I learned it when I remembered growing up that when I would get in trouble, my parents would tell me to shut my cotton picking mouth. So yeah, if you're gonna have children of color, you need to educate yourself a lot better, because now I'm suffering from trauma and trying to heal. And it's not fair whatsoever for any black child to have to go through these things.
To my fellow mixed race peeps out there.
My mother always preferred my friends over me. I grew up in a white town with white people. One time we had a friend staying with me because he had nowhere to go. And we got in a fight because he figured he could pay bills and tell me what was mine and what to do in my own home. I disagreed. We fought. I ended up beating his ass into a corner. My mother called the police on me. Yes, her own daughter. And she let them come over and treat me like shit and scare the fuck out of me. And of course I was worked up and upset because not only did this asshole have control, but my mom sat there and backed him up. Him. Not her own daughter. I was always in the wrong. I was always second to everybody. I think she sees me as the thing that ruined her life. So, and I had PTSD from her dying. Can you believe that shit?
Is that your white parent should have never...
Okay, so I'm adopted from Ethiopia. I grew up in a pretty big family. Seven of my siblings are also adopted from other countries, and we have 2 white moms. And so there was this one time, I was in 11th grade, and I was sitting on the couch. My mom comes in, and she goes, "Please don't be offended by what I'm about to ask you, but, like, I really want to know." And I'm like, "Okay, what is it that you want to know?" Then she proceeds to ask me, "Why is it that you feel so strongly for the Black Lives Matter movement when technically you aren't a part of the group?" And I was confused. So I go, "What do you mean by that?" And she says, "Well, you don't have ancestors that were slaves, and you're also adopted from another country, and you have a white parent." And then she goes on to say, "And if reparations were even going to be a thing, you wouldn't be getting any. So why do you fight so hard?" And honestly, after that, I'm not even gonna lie, like, my heart hurt a little bit because I just couldn't understand why my mom, regardless of her race, would not get that.
So, as most of y'all know, my mama is black. My daddy is white and native. And when he got with my white stepmom, it's like when he really like started like his true colors really started like really coming out. And he got with her, I was 14. So I'm mainly, my preference I'm attracted to the most is dark skinned men. So I was, you know what I'm saying, dating this little dude or whatever, he was dark skinned. And I asked my dad, like, can he come over? And my daddy like, yeah, he can come over. Then he gonna pull me to the side and ask me like, why you always be dating these tall, skinny, dark Negroes? Sir, you had a kid with a Negro. Stop motherfucking playing with me. I said, because that's what I like and that's who like me. I said, ain't you sleep with a Negro? And he shut the fuck up.
Let's get to my favorite part, which is going through some of the comments from different people. Let's check them out together because most of the comments are based on experiences. And the first one reads, after my Asian grandma died, my white dad thought we should throw away all our kimonos, despite my mom and I being very in touch with our culture. I wasn't allowed to watch The Proud Family, that is Raven or Corey, in the house because my white caregivers didn't like black culture. I'm so confused. So then why procreate with a person of color? Now this one I'm about to read is sad. It reads, mine told me I couldn't swim because my bones were heavier because I'm black. Guys, like, where does someone even get such a notion from? Anyway, this one says, I'm not allowed to say I'm black. I'm not allowed to say any black slang that I learned from my dad because it's improper. But all the white slang she taught me is perfectly fine. There are really sad experiences from people. And this one says, when I found out she told my dad, I'll call the cops. And who do you think they're going to believe? In response to my dad stopping her from abusing us. This is really deep. For me, I was depressed about my skin color, and mom would say, people give themselves cancer to look like you. Be grateful. Ish. This one says, when my white mom said it was unfortunate how dark I turned out compared to my younger siblings. But was she expecting, what was she expecting when the man is of another race? It is a shame, guys. White people think they can have black kids and then erase their blackness. I'm sure a lot of biracial have this same story. It's just sad that this is happening, but it works up the reality of what's going on. Me, it's when my white dad says he hates Mexicans. My mom is Mexican, then he gets all mad when I say, but I'm Mexican. I have a question. If he says he hates Mexicans, then why did he marry one? Talk more of having a child with one. Weird, right? The older I get, the more microaggressions I receive. I feel like I'm the only sibling who's affected by this, but I can't understand why. My white mom always talked badly about my dad or his side, used racial slurs or allowed her boyfriend to abuse me, use slurs, and tried to keep me away from my dad's side. I'm adopted, but when she told me to go back to my country since I didn't like it there. You know, interracial and interethnic marriages have been on the rise in the United States for many decades, and by 2016, over 10% of all marriages. 1 in 6 newlywed couples in interracial or interethnic marriages, resulting in an increasing number of parents raising biracial, biethnic, or multiracial children. A topic that has become particularly salient given recent attention to matters of race amid the current political environment following the deaths of George Floyd and other black men and women at the hands of police officers, and this resulting in Black Lives Matter marches. Now, it's really sad like it's really sad hearing such sad stories coming from different people who have experienced this type of R2-ism from their parents. Like, how can a parent do this to his or her own child? Talk more of those people who adopt children of different races when they are not even ready to get, you know, past their bad notion on people of different race and how they look at them. Like, this is really sad, because I personally didn't know didn't know that this was happening. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this topic, guys? Well, what do you have to say? Feel free to drop your comments. From me, it's a bye-bye, and see you in my next video.